'cause there will be a time. Oh, oh.
Hey guys, and welcome on in to another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends, NHL trends and betting picks. It's time to talk the Saturday slate. So for people that are not aware, Monday to Friday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern is the daily show. And then Fridays, usually around this time, 5 or 6 Eastern, we take a look at the Saturday slate and a look ahead type fashion. So we'll go through each of the games here. I do have player props that I'm looking at for tomorrow, but of course, most player props are not available yet. So these are not officially bet yet. Check the comments of this video Saturday morning, and I'll have everything typed out officially, the odds and everything for each play and what is official, because I may end up adding things as well tomorrow. But we'll break down each game and talk about who's playing well and look at the games. Nothing to recap for Friday because things are not started yet. Of course, we'll recap that on Monday. So we will see the comment here. I have 8 for tomorrow. Wow. All right. To be honest, not a lot of sides and totals for me tomorrow, so far at least. But there's a few really good spots that I love. But we'll jump into it here, and we will start with the first game, which is between the Winnipeg Jets and the New York Islanders. Winnipeg minus 129 to minus 130. New York Islanders plus 110 to plus 114. 5.5s right across the board here in this game. Taking a look at goaltenders, we have a goaltender confirmed. Semyon Varlamov will get the start here in net for the New York Islanders against the Winnipeg Jets. It should be Hellebuck. Ross started for Winnipeg in their last game, so it should be Connor Hellebuck starting here against Semyon Varlamov. And of course, if you look at the two goaltenders, they're pretty much opposites of each other. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. Varlamov hasn't been that bad, but he has not nearly played anything close to the level of Connor Hellebuck. How are these teams doing recently? Winnipeg 7-4 in their last 11. The New York Islanders have lost 6 games in a row. Winnipeg 1 over, 4 unders, 2 games finished with 6 goals. So with this total, 3 overs, 4 unders. New York Islanders have gone over 6.5 in 5 of their last 8 games. The Islanders 7-1 in the last 8 games against Winnipeg. For some reason, Winnipeg has trouble with the New York Islanders. 1 over, 5 unders, 1 game finished with 6 goals. I hate to start off the day with this, but yeah, this is my Picks and Parlays exclusive play of the day. So it's available at picksandparlays.net in the description below. Or will be available after the show is done for $25. If the play loses, you get your money back as stored credit. So that's my exclusive play of the day here in this game. Looking at player props, Kyle Connor has at least 3 shots on goal, 6 of his last 9. Mark Scheifele continues to get points, point in 9 of his last 10 games. Toffoli didn't get a point in his last game, but he's got one in 3 of his last 4. And the only player currently playing that well for the Islanders is Bo Horvat, who has a point in 3 of his last 4. IceX likes the Jets on the puck line, and as much as the Isles can fight for their playoff lives, they're done for. Yeah. We'll have to see here. Patrick Waugh says that his team played well in their last game against Detroit. He said in his post-game comments that he actually really liked the game that the Islanders played against Detroit. So that might be telling right there. But we'll go on to our second game, of the afternoon, which is between the Boston Bruins and the Philadelphia Flyers. Boston minus 154 to minus 155. Philadelphia plus 130 to plus 130. Books are in agreement here with the money line prices. Sixes and 5.5s. So not so much agreed on the total are the books here in this game. No confirmed goaltenders here. Has Swayman listed against Urson. I would expect Urson to play. Swayman, we'll see. Maybe he gets the night off here or afternoon off here because this is an afternoon game, 1 p.m. Eastern. How are these two teams doing recently? Boston 5-2 in their last 7 games, coming off a loss to the Rangers, but the Rangers have had Boston's number this year, and the Rangers off a loss have been very good. So it's not that Boston necessarily played an awful game or anything. It's just it was a tough opponent for them. 3 overs, 4 unders, 2 games finished with 6 goals. The Flyers 2-3-1 in their last 6. So winning games, losing games in overtime. 4 of their last 6 games over 6.5. And Boston's won the last 7 games between these two teams. They've had success against the Flyers. The last 3 meetings all going over 7.5. So we've seen some very high scoring games between these two teams, including 6-5, I believe, last week. Bringing it up here. Yeah, 6-5. 6-5 8 days ago in Boston. Now they're facing here in Philadelphia. And I don't bet sides for Philadelphia games until I do, and then things don't go well. For whatever reason, this Flyers team, when it comes to sides and totals, I can't get them right. So not going to even try. Boston should continue their winning streak here, but I'm not betting against the Flyers. So what I'm doing here, 2 same game parlays. So obviously don't have the odds for this yet, but I've been betting Pastrnak and Zaka for a while now. Both did not get a point in their last game. So I like them to bounce back here. In this one, obviously, I said the Rangers was a tough game for the Bruins. And then Morgan Frost and Owen Tippett. That'll be probably, I'm guessing, around plus 200 somewhere. That's going to be a nice plus same game parlay. Tippett's got a point in 5 games in a row, and Morgan Frost has a point in 5 games in a row. So both players playing really well with Travis Konechny, who's the best offensive player for the Philadelphia Flyers. He's got a point in 11 of his last 14. You could throw him in there, but I'm just doing the 2 Tippett and Frost. Pastrnak has a point in 9 of his last 12. Pavel Zacha had a point in 8 games in a row until his last game, but he's got a point in 8 of his last 9. And then another one you could do if you do really like Boston in this game is Brad Marchand and Jake DeBrusk, both to get points. They play on the second line with Charlie Coyle. Marchand's got a point in 6 of his last 9. Jake DeBrusk has a point in 7 of his last 9. So other options here. Most likely we do see a lot of goals here, I would assume, in this game. Flyers money line. Interesting. Ice X going against his Bruins. Yeah, I'm not betting a side, but I'll have player props here on both sides for both teams. Moving on along to our third game of the afternoon, which is between the St. Louis Blues and Minnesota Wild. St. Louis plus 120 to plus 125. Minnesota minus 140 to minus 150. 5.5s. Right across the board, it does look like there's a 6 North Star, so there may be 6s available here in this game. How are these two teams doing recently? Well, St. Louis 5-1 in their last 6 games, 2 overs, 4 unders, 2 games finished with 6 goals. Minnesota 6-1-2 in their last 9, coming off a horrific loss again in LA against the LA Kings. No overs, 4 unders, 1 game finished with 6 goals. So the Wild have been playing lower scoring games recently. The Wild 4-2-1 in the last 7 meetings between these teams. The last 3 all going under 5.5. So both teams trending more towards the under right now. When I look at this game, I can't bet the Wild here. Minus 145 to minus 150. Minus 135. If you're new to the show, my cutoff point is minus 135. I don't go past that. Minus 139, I've bet once this year. Otherwise, I like plus money, minus 120, minus 130, minus 110, that kind of stuff. But once it gets past minus 135 to minus 140, it's I would have to go within regulation. And I don't want to do this here. The Blues playing very well right now, staying in this playoff race. The Wild, yes, they're off a road trip, coming back home here, but that last game was absolutely awful. I expect the Wild to come out here with a very good performance here at home. So, yeah, I guess I should tell my plays. Jake Neighbors over half a point. I expect that to be plus money once again. He's on the top line for the Blues. If the Blues win, Neighbors is likely getting a point. Kirill Kaprizov anytime goal. Didn't get a point in his last game, but nobody in the Wild got a point in their last game. The entire team played absolutely horrific hockey. So I expect a bounce back from the Wild. I expect the Blues to fight their hardest because this is a very important game for both teams. Could we see overtime in this game? It has that feeling. These two teams did go to overtime when they faced each other last, so there's that. But looking at other player props, Justin Falk has an assist in 4 of his last 6. Didn't cash in the last game. Not going to load up on Blues props because the Wild have been playing very low scoring games. And when these teams have faced each other, it's been low scoring. Kirill Kaprizov, as I said, a goal in 7 of his last 9, a point in 8 of his last 9, 4 shots on goal in 4 games in a row for Kirill the Thrill. Give me Kirill Kaprizov anytime goal and Neighbors over half a point, which should be plus something, hopefully at least. Threw a 25% boost on Fanatics for Bruins money line to get it at minus 125-ish. Okay, that's not bad. Wild puck line. All right. I'd like to see it, but I can't put my money on it. And that's coming from the Wild fan. I have to watch it, watch the game. It is a bad spot for the Wild coming back from LA, but it was such a bad game that I have to see them bouncing back here. Grabbed Oilers money line minus 105, then boosted it to plus 105. Jets money line boosted at minus 123. Panthers money line got plus 105, boosted plus 115 for Sens, and Devils over 6. Oh, at minus 120. All right. Best of luck. A lot of boosts there. Nice. Kirill loves playing the Blues too. I haven't looked at his stats against the Blues, but thanks, Adam, for mentioning that. I'm not sure what the stats are, but yeah, he does like playing his divisional opponents for some reason, and then usually LA. But that was just a bad game for the whole team. Goaltenders not announced. I really could see Fleury or Gustafsson starting here. Joel Hofer started in his last. I always want to say Joel because of Joel Eriksson. Joel Hofer started in his last game, so this should be Binnington here in this one, but nobody's confirmed yet. Moving on along to this next one, which is just a really interesting game that we've got 5 p.m. Eastern. So not quite an afternoon game, early night game here. Detroit Red Wings and Nashville Predators. Detroit plus 135 to plus 139. Nashville minus 157 to minus 162. Sixes right across the board here in this one. No confirmed goaltenders here. Actually, sorry, wrong, incorrect. Alex Lyon confirmed here to start for Detroit. The Wings have won back-to-back games, but now they'll go to Lyon, who's given up 4 or more goals in 6 of his last 7 starts, and has been absolutely horrible. And now he gets thrown to the Wolves to face this Predators team. Kevin Lankinen off the shutout. Um, Normally in the past, when you see a goaltender get a shutout, you would see that goalie play again. That's just how it used to be, but not so much anymore. So most likely this will be back to UC Saros here in this one. How are these two teams doing recently? Detroit's lost 8 of their last 11. Yes, they've won back to back. And yes, Dylan Larkin is back, which is obviously huge for them. 5 of their last 7 games going over 6.5. Nashville 14 0-2 in their last 16 games. And I continue to make money off this team almost on a nightly basis. 3 overs, 3 unders, 2 games finished with 6 goals. How do these two teams do against each other? Nashville 7-1-1 in the last 9 games between these teams. They've had a lot of success against the Red Wings in recent years. 3 of their last 6 went over 6.5. 3 of the last 6 went under 5.5. So when it comes to the total here, I could see anything happening. Probably it finishes with 6. It's probably going to be a push and finish with 6 goals. No single plays here for me in this one. Now, Nashville team total over 3.5. I don't believe we have odds out for team totals for tomorrow. But hold on, I could be wrong. We'll see. No, nothing at Bet365 yet. I will, as I said in the beginning of the show, all my player props I'll have listed in the comment section of this video Saturday morning when I get up. I'll go through everything. Most likely, I'm adding Preds team total over 3.5 here, depending on the price, of course. Most likely, I'll add that here. That will be my single play here in this one because Alex Lyon has been absolutely horrific, and this Predators team is consistent, and they're just playing really well. So, Predators to win in regulations plus 105. They did just tie their franchise record of a point streak. They just broke their record for the most points in a row in their franchise history. So you could maybe think that this could be a letdown spot after that, but I don't know how much the players are really thinking about that. I'm sure maybe the media is talking about it. The only reason why I think this could be a somewhat of a letdown spot is because it was Florida. That you just went in and shut out Florida in their building. That's a huge result. But this Predators team has, as I said a million times, been so consistent that I'll be on their team total over 3.5 as long as it's at a decent price, and most likely get on in regulation here as well. Fanatics giving out 10 times boost per day for March Madness. Oh, there we go. Had so many, I've used them on the next day slate of games. There we go. That was last year, but just had 2 points last game. Yeah, I hope he has a big night. Probably going to be, if anyone's going to be pissed off, it'll be Kirill. Wings money line. Okay, so IceX thinks. Well, you didn't say Wings and Reg, so it's possible that Wings win in overtime. I just can't go against this Predators team. I cannot do it, especially against a team they've dominated in recent years as well. Nashville over 3.5 likely. Yeah. Just want to see the price on that. Hey, Adam, maybe you and I can collab on that. Let me know on Twitter, and we'll talk about that. But maybe we can. MGM has Preds team total over 3.5 at minus 105. ESPN has it at plus 115. I'm pretty sure ESPN bet is in regulation for the team totals, but I'm hopping on that one now. The line just seems mispriced coming from a Wings homer. Stay away from line right now. Yeah. When he's given up 4 goals in 6 of his last 7 games, And two of those games, I believe, were against Arizona. I don't know the other teams he was playing, but um, now he's facing this Predators team, who is just the hottest team in the league. I don't think it's quite close either. Not with my overtime record, Terry. LOL. Oh, there you go. Plus 110 on ESPN bet. Sorry. Hey, no problem. I believe though, like I said, I believe that they are in regulation only. I would take the minus 105 for the team total over 3.5, just the normal one. Just in case this game is 3-3 in overtime and the Preds win. Because Dylan Larkin coming back um has been a big addition for the Red Wings back. So we'll see, but I think the Preds probably win this one. But I would still take the minus 105 for the team total. If that's the price available at most books, then I'll take that one for sure. Preds team total over 3.5. Player props here in this one because there's a lot of different things you can do with player props here. For the Red Wings, Shane Gostisbehere, who I did get to bet. His point prop was available later on in the day. Plus, what did I get? Plus 110 for him to get a point. He's got one in 13 of his last 15 games. So if you want to bet somebody for Detroit, Shane Gostisbehere to get a point. Dylan Larkin a point in 3 of his last 4 games. Lucas Raymond's goal streak did end in his last game, but he's still got one in 5 of his last 6. A point in 6 games in a row. Patrick Kane has a point in 6 games in a row, an assist in 4 of his last 6, and 3 shots on goal in 8 games in a row for Patrick Kane. So I do think the Red Wings are going to put up some offense here. I'm not sure how much, but I do think that their big guns can do something. Predators, Roman Josi a point in 11 of 13. Philip Forsberg a point in 12 of his last 13. Gustav Nyquist a point in 10 of his last 13. Ryan O'Reilly was cold there for a few games, but did get, I believe, 2 or 3 points in the last game. And then Tommy Novak a point in 5 of his last 7, 16 of his last 21. Probably going to stay off Novak here unless it's something crazy like plus 120 or something to get a point. Maybe then I'll jump on it. But most likely I'm going to have a same game parlay here. Josi, Forsberg, and Nyquist all to get a point parlay together. Which should be over plus 150, I'd assume, in this one. Sounds good, Terry. I have bet and cashed the Preds team total last 5 games. Yeah, consistent. Yossi Apple. Yeah, you could look that way, especially depending on the price. Luke Evangelista has been crushing over 1.5 shots, hitting 7 straight. There you go. With the shot props, I usually look at guys doing 3 or more, but Evangelista's shot, the prop total is probably very low, so that's good. Moving on along to the next game here on the slate, which is between the Ottawa Senators and the New Jersey Devils. Ottawa plus 135 to plus 141. New Jersey minus 160 to minus 162. 6.5s right across the board in this game here. Let's see. No confirmed goaltenders. Anton Forsberg unconfirmed. Jake Allen unconfirmed. I would be surprised if we see anyone other than Jake Allen for the Devils here going forward for a bit at least. He has been playing very well for them recently. Looking at how these two teams have done, Ottawa 3-3 in their last 6, 4 games in a row over 6.5. So the Senators team was on an under streak for a while. Not anymore. 4 overs in a row. New Jersey 3-2 in their last 5. 3 out of their last 4 going under 5.5. So Devils going under, partly a big reason because of Jake Allen, and the Senators going over recently. The Devils have won the last 4 games between the teams. 4 overs, no unders, 1 game finished with 6 goals previously between these teams. I like Devils money line. I think what you could do is parlay Devils money line with Nashville money line, which we talked about. I think that could be a good two-teamer. Or there's other teams we could talk about as well. I do like Nashville money line. Or sorry, New Jersey money line. I guess you could look at it in regulation, but I'm not quite comfortable with that here. So, um, and I'm not comfortable taking the Devils puck line. Yes, it's 153, which is a nice plus price, but um, I think this Devils team is going to continue to play well and give it their all and try to make the playoffs here. Um, and this is a team they should beat in the Ottawa Senators. So I like the money line minus 160. I don't like the price, so it would have to be a parlay piece. But I will take Timo Meyer anytime goal here. He's got one in 8 of his last 11 games on that top line, and he's been the most consistent New Jersey Devil. Nico Hischier, a point 9 of his last 12. Jack Hughes, a point in 10 of his last 13. For the Senators, I'm not betting it because when I bet shot props singly, at least lately, things have not been going well. So I'm not going to bet it. But Brady Tkachuk has at least 5 shots on goal in 7 of his last 8 games. And I know that people that have been watching the show have been cashing on that plus money. He's got 6 or more shots in 5 games in a row. So Brady Tkachuk is just shooting the puck pretty much every shift he's on. He's got a point 3 of his last 4 games. If you're looking at anyone for the Ottawa Senators, it's Brady Tkachuk. Tim Stützle, 0.6 of his last 8. No points in back-to-back games. So for me, New Jersey to win somehow here. And I like Timo Meyer anytime goal. Should be a good price. But no other props right now. Sens Devils draw. Interesting. I could see that. This game screams draw. Agreed with IceX. Shaking hands. Yeah, I agree with you guys as well. I could see a draw here. Ottawa, team that is playing spoiler. New Jersey, a team that obviously really wants this win, but not not a team that's blowing teams out. Not one of the top teams in the league. So we'll see what happens here in this one. But moving on to the game of the night for Canadian viewers, and most of the viewers that watch the channel, because I was looking at some analytics and stuff with the channel, a very high portion of the viewers are American. So thank you to all the American viewers. Very high portion of the viewers on the channel are American, so that's interesting. Edmonton Oilers, but the game that most people in Canada will be paying attention to here: Edmonton Oilers, Toronto Maple Leafs. Edmonton minus 115 and minus 122. Toronto minus 105 to plus 102. 6.5s here, right across the board in this one. I don't believe we have confirmed goaltenders yet, but we will take a quick look. Let's see. Nope. Joseph Wallen confirmed. Stuart Skinner unconfirmed. We will see who is playing tomorrow. Looking at how these teams have done recently: Edmonton 4-1-2 in their last 7. Toronto 3-1-1 in their last 5. So both teams are playing pretty similar right now. Not so much when it comes to the total. Edmonton, for their last 6, going under 5.5. Of course, not the last game against the Sabres, where the Oilers scored 8, and I was on the under, unfortunately. Toronto has gone over 6.5 in 4 games in a row. So they are scoring quite a bit recently, and we'll get to that player props wise in a few minutes. A lot of players scoring right now for the Leafs. Toronto 7-2-1 in the last 10 games between these teams. So they've had success against the Oilers. 4 overs, 1 under, 3 games finished with 6 goals. So at a total of 6.5, it's 4-4. A lot of games finished with 6 goals. And one of the worst things is when you have an over 6.5 and it finishes with 6. If I'm on an over 6.5 and I'm going to lose, honestly, I'd rather it just be 1-0 or 2-1. Once it gets to that 6 goal and you're just so hopeful for one more and you don't get it, it's not fun. So I'll say that. So games have been landing with 6 with these teams in the past. Um, when I look at this game, this is another potential draw spot because I could see this game, and I do like the over. I do like the over at 6.5, but haven't pulled the trigger yet in either. But I have player props that I'm looking at here. John Tavares, we cashed with on the last show. He's got a goal in 4 of his last 5 games. 2 or more points in 3 games in a row. So Tavares is on fire right now. 3 games in a row with, 4 games in a row with 3 shots on goal. William Nylander's got a goal in 4 games in a row. 3 shots on goal in 11 of his last 12. Tyler Bertuzzi, who's not feeling the best. We'll see if he does play for this game, but he's been scoring recently as well. A goal in 3 of his last 4 games. Austin Matthews, 2 or more points in 3 of his last 4 games. So Toronto is scoring a lot right now. A lot of players playing really well for the Leafs. For the Oilers, Connor McDavid an assist in 17 of his last 19 games. Leon Draisaitl a point in 8 of his last 10. Zach Hyman a goal in 2 of his last 4. Zach Hyman going back to Toronto, where he played with most of his career before going to Edmonton. Maybe he scores here, but the Edmonton player prop that I'm on here is Evan Bouchard, or I will be on, obviously depending on the price. Will be Evan Bouchard over half an assist here. He's got one in 5 games in a row for the Oilers. So I like Bouchard here to get a assist, which should be plus money here in this one. So 2 player props here in this one. Pass. Yeah, I'm dumbfounded on this one. Yeah, I could see a 4-4 game going to overtime. I could see a 6-4, 7-4 game, but I could see a 4-1 game too. So kind of all over the place here with this game. So I'll just go with props here in this one. But on to my favorite game of the night. Well, I shouldn't say that because there's another game later on that I really like. But this one here, Florida Panthers and the New York Rangers. Florida minus 105 to minus 110. Rangers minus 110 to minus 115. Sixes, there is a 5.5 at FanDuel here in this game. Looking at goaltenders here. Let's see. I just checked here a moment ago and didn't see any. Bobrovsky against Igor Shesterkin is what it should be here. Quick start in the last game. Bobrovsky hasn't been playing so well in recent games. He has given up 3 or more in 4 straight games, I believe, for the Panthers. How are these 2 teams doing recently? Florida have lost 4 of their last 6. Starting to go in a little bit of a funk here. 2 of their last 4 going over, 2 going under. The Rangers 6-2 in their last 8 games. 4 of the last 5 going over 6.5. The Rangers have won 4 of the last 6 games between these teams. And if you've watched the show previously, you know, because I mentioned it, even on shows when these teams haven't played, it's been mentioned. Florida and New York Rangers. When these 2 teams face each other, we get goals. 16 of the last 18 games between these teams have gone over 6.5. The 2 games that didn't go over 6.5, one of them being one of the games this year, finished with 4-2. So if you've got access to FanDuel with that 5.5 minus 130, absolutely could not love that play anymore. Especially with the fact that this Florida Panthers team, who's not scoring very much right now, did just get shut out in their last game at home. I do expect a pissed off Panthers team coming into this game. This game has got goals back and forth written all over it. Um, the 5.5 is -130, but not everyone can get that. I still like it at 6, which you can get -115, +100 in the one spot there. As I've said, and I know a lot of people. There was someone that commented a couple days ago that said, "What happens in the past means shit. It doesn't mean anything." I cashed in the over in all 3 games last year between these teams. If you've been betting the over every single time these teams have faced each other, you've made money since 2005. I think it goes back to. So while past history stats are not the all and be all, like it doesn't guarantee anything. Um, when you've got these long streak, it's definitely something I'm going to ride because I'm a streak better, as we've talked about. So over 5.5 if you can get it. Over 6, Rangers money line. Um, that's the second part of this. While I do think we're going to get a pissed off Florida team coming in here, they're just not playing well right now, and this Rangers team is. So I like the Rangers here at home to get the win and see some goals here in this one. I need to find a plus money play on this one, but strongly lean Cats. Okay, Cats and Reg. Oh, okay. Rangers, do you want to sweep Boston? They did. How about getting swept by the Cats the following game? Yes, I believe Florida has won both meetings this year. So that's something to look at. Oh, yes. I do like the Rangers. I've been betting this Rangers team quite a bit recently. Rangers at home here, which is important. Florida has played very well on the road. They do have more road wins than home wins. So it's not like being on the road is horrible for this team, but they're just not playing well right now. And doesn't sound like Barkov will be playing here in this game, which definitely does hurt them. Looking at player props for this game, Sam Reinhart has a point in 3 of his last 5 games. Matthew Tkachuk has a point in 3 of his last 5 games. Neither players all that consistent, and that's the only players that are consistent recently. So Panthers are having tough time scoring goals recently. Tkachuk has at least 4 shots in goal in 4 of his last 5 games. Alexis Lafreniere has a point in 5 games in a row. Most likely, I will be on his point prop. As I said, check the comments of this video Saturday morning for my updated player prop list. But Lafreniere should be plus money, as it has been recently, on a 5-game point streak. So I'll bet him. Artemi Panarin a point in 13 of his last 17. Vincent Trocheck a point in 14 of his last 17. Mika Zibanejad has a point in 4 of his last 5, a goal in 3 of his last 4. Chris Kreider has a point in 7 of his last 9, and Adam Fox has a point in 10 of his last 12. So 6 Rangers players are really consistent right now. Florida Panthers are not. So give me the over, give me the Rangers, and most likely Lafreniere point prop and maybe some same game parlays as well. Here this one. It's not time to hit the panic alarm for the Panthers. They've still got some games here before the playoffs where they can work out these issues, get healthy, and work out these little issues that they've had recently. But we will move on along to the next one here, which is between the Calgary Flames and the Vancouver Canucks. Calgary plus 150 to plus 156. Vancouver minus 178 to minus 185. 6s and 6.5s available here in this game. How are these two teams doing recently? Calgary's lost 4 of their last 6 games, 4 of their last 5 going over 6.5. Vancouver 6-1-1 in their last 8, 7 of their last 8 going under 5.5. So Vancouver's winning low-scoring games. The Flames are mostly losing high-scoring games. Vancouver 3-2-1 in the last 6 between these teams. 7 of the last 9 going over 6.5. 3 of the last 6 going to overtime. So we've had some close games between these teams recently. And ultimately, no single plays for me in this one. The Canucks don't care about covering puck lines. The Canucks just care about winning and playing good defense. And that's what they've been doing. So maybe Calgary team total under, but I don't want to do that either because Calgary has been scoring, but have been involved in high scoring games. And when Casey DeSmith but he's played well, he has, but still with him in net, I'm not ready to go with the with any sides here or totals. Mikael Backlund has an assist in 3 games in a row for Calgary. He's the most consistent player recently. For Canucks, JT Miller's got a point in 11 of his last 14. Elias Pettersson a point in 4 of his last 7. Quinn Hughes a point in 6 of his last 8. Just moved up to the top line in his last game and he scored a goal. Connor Garland, he's got a point in 6 of his last 8 games and a goal in back-to-back. So you could potentially look at Garland. If his point prop is available, it'll most likely be plus money. So most likely I'll jump on that if it's available tomorrow. Super pass. There you go. This is a tougher game here, in my opinion. Moving on along to the next one here, we've got the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Vegas Golden Knights. Columbus plus 240 to plus 250. Vegas minus 294 to minus 315. 6s and 6.5s available here. How are these two teams doing recently? Well, Columbus still has to play tonight in Colorado. And then after that, they get to go to Vegas and play on the second night of a back-to-back in Vegas. Horrible scheduling spot here for this Columbus team, who's playing really bad hockey recently, losing 5 of their last 6 games. Higher scoring games recently. They have gone to overtime in 2 of their last 4. Vegas 4-2 in their last 6. So are they starting to turn things up here? 10 of their last 14 games going over 6.5. Columbus 6-4-1 all time against Vegas. Have a winning record against Vegas somehow. 3 of the last 4 meetings going over 6.5. No single plays here. That's 6. I'm looking at it, but I do want to see what happens here tonight first, and then we'll go from there. But if I was going to play our side, I'm not. Vegas should absolutely win this game. That's why they're minus 300 favorites. But I don't feel comfortable taking the puck line with Vegas. It is a great spot for them against this Columbus team on the second night of a back-to-back. But this Columbus team has played Vegas well. So Vegas most likely wins, but pass. Yeah. Looking at player props for Columbus, as I mentioned on today's show, Johnny Gaudreau an assist in 3 of his last 4. Zach Werenski an assist in 3 of his last 4. Werenski may or may not play tonight, Friday, so not sure on his status for Saturday either, but he's been shooting the puck a ton if he does play. For the Vegas Golden Knights, Jack Eichel has at least 3 shots on goal in 14 of his last 15 games. So Jack Eichel shoots the puck. A point in 5 of his last 6 games. Shea Theodore has an assist in 5 of his last 6 games and 11 of his last 14. So may get to Shea Theodore assist prop as well. Again, depending on the price. Check the comments of the video tomorrow morning to see. But if the Rangers game is not my favorite game of the night, which it is a game I really do like, here's my second favorite game of the night. We've got the Tampa Bay Lightning plus 105 to plus 110, heading to LA minus 124 to minus 130. 6s right across the board here in this one. I don't believe we have confirmed goaltenders here. Nope. For the last few games we've talked about, there has not been confirmed goaltenders. Has Andrei Vasilevsky listed, which, of course, he starts every game for Tampa, so he'll be starting here. And then David Riddick, unconfirmed. Maybe they go back to Talbot. We'll see. David Riddick did get the shutout against Minnesota. And now he gets to face this, if he is in net, whoever's in net, gets to face this Tampa Bay Lightning team, who is 6-1 in their last 7 games. 6 of their last 7 games going over 6.5. A big reason for that is Tampa Bay is scoring a shit ton of goals recently. LA 4-2 in their last 6, 1 over, 5 unders, 1 game, finished with 6 goals. How did these two teams do against each other? Well, Tampa Bay 12-1 in the last 13 games against LA. Obviously, these two teams face each other twice a year, so that's going back quite a long time now. 4 of the last 8 meetings have gone to overtime, so we've seen some close games between these teams. 2 overs, 1 under, 1 game, finished with 6 goals. Tampa Bay is a dog against a team they've absolutely dominated and are playing their best hockey of the season and are scoring a shit ton of goals. Give me the Lightning, plus 110. Yes, LA is playing well. They did just smash Minnesota, and then they smashed Chicago a couple games. But we've seen what Chicago's offense did against Anaheim and what Chicago's offense does against teams that are bad. Recently, they've been beating up on most of them, but against good teams, they haven't done anything. Minnesota just played an awful game against the LA Kings. This Tampa Bay team has not been playing awful games. I like them here as a dog, plus 110. Duclair anytime goal and Braden Point anytime goal for me here. And this one, Point has a point in 13 of his last 15 games, a goal in 4 of his last 5, and 10 of his last 14. So he's been scoring a ton. Nikita Kucherov has a point in 22 of his last 23, an assist in 12 games in a row, and 2 or more points in 4 games in a row. And I believe he had 5 points in his last game against the Sharks. Stamkos has a point in 7 games in a row and an assist in 6 of his last 7. Anthony Duclair has a point in 8 of his last 9, a goal in 7 of his last 9, 3 shots on goal in 6 of his last 8. Victor Hedman has an assist in 5 of his last 6 games. As I said, the Lightning are scoring a shit ton of goals. Adrian Kempe has a point in 5 of his last 6 for LA. Andrei Kopitar has 2 or more points in 3 of his last 4 games. So the Kings have been getting most of their offense from that top line, while the Lightning have been getting offense from 2 lines recently. Thunder money line. Yes, we agree, Isex. Awesome. I have to rewind the show. Yes, you're right at the end, Richie, but that's okay. Thanks for coming on in. You're seeing that I absolutely love this Tampa Bay game. One of the games I love today or for tomorrow. I smash like. Thank you, everyone. Be like Richie. He always smashes the like button. But we'll go on to the game of the night, the game that everyone is watching the show for and is just super excited that we get to talk about. We've got the Chicago Blackhawks and the San Jose Sharks. The Blackhawks minus 110 to minus 115. San Jose minus 102 to minus 110. 6s right across the board. Pass. Pass. 1-800-GAMBLER. There's so many better games you could bet on this slate. You should just not go anywhere near this game. Yes, Connor Bedard should have a big night, but he should have had a big night against Anaheim. He did smash the Sharks when he faced them previously, but I'm not going near the Blackhawks right now. I am just not. Props, sides, nothing. The Sharks team, I'm not going to bet them either. They've lost 15 of their last 16 games. No. The only thing I could get to is the over here. Blackhawks have gone to over 6.5 in 5 of their last 8. The Sharks, 6 overs, 3 unders, 1 game finished with 6 goals. 4 of the last 5 have gone over 6.5 between these teams. Chicago's 4-1 in the last 5. 2 of the 3 went to overtime. So maybe we get a draw, but no, absolutely not. I'm sorry, guys. If you wanted to play in this game, you're shit out of luck because I'm just not betting it. And there's Ice X with Sharks puck line. Yeah, hey, if that happens, good job. Um, I will laugh. I will laugh at the Blackhawks if they lose by multiple goals to a team that's lost 15 of their last 16 games. I will actually laugh out loud and find that very hilarious. But we do have a confirmed goaltender for this game. I did not mention Mackenzie Blackwood started in his last game and will start again in this one here. Much easier opponent here in his second start facing Chicago rather than Tampa Bay. That's just. And hey, Tampa only got 4 goals against Blackwood. And obviously you're thinking, well, 4 goals is a lot. Well, not when you're on the Sharks and have that defense and it's your first game back from injury. I think he actually did pretty well against the red hot offense that is the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now to the parlay of the day. Hoping that today's parlay of the day ends the streak. And for anyone that hasn't watched the show for today, this is the parlay of the day, which was also my bargain bin special on the Ice Guys. Carolina team total over 3.5, Dallas team total over 3.5, and Colorado team total over 3.5. Hoping to break the losing streak because the parlay of the day, which started off really well and we've been doing really well with it, has gotten a bit cold recently. So that's today's parlay of the day. This is what we're going to go with tomorrow. Philip Forsberg over 0.5 point and Anthony Duclair over 0.5 point. Forsberg has a point in 12 of his last 13 games for the Nashville Predators, and he gets to face Alex Lyon tomorrow. And then Anthony Duclair, 0.8 of his last 9, and is just on the top line with Point and Kucherov. Not much else to say there. Forsberg point won't be priced that well, but Duclair's will help this be probably around plus 130, plus 140, I would assume. But check the comment section of this video tomorrow, as I will have all my props. If I add Preds team total over 3.5, which I'm going to, anything else that I add, I will add it all in the comments of this video. If you're watching on Twitter, go over to the YouTube channel, Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. And then, hit the subscribe and like. And then check the comments there for any additional props and all my final plays for Saturday. Thank you everyone for watching. No Sunday shows. We'll be back on Monday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, for another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. NHL picks, NHL trends and betting picks. Guessing you took a Jets puck line, Blues money line, Boston Philly under, Preds puck line. The Jets game is my exclusive premium play of the day for sale, so no comment in that game. Blues money line with that little face. You can check Richie, but no, I didn't bet a side in that game. Boston Philly, I don't bet Flyers games except for props, and Preds puck line. No, but want to talk anyone off that. Thanks everyone for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next show. Thanks, guys.